Welcome, everybody. Week 38. Good Saturday morning, 10 a.m. We're right on time. Yeah. Expecting a pretty good crowd today. I encourage everybody, go ahead and comment right on the screen. Love to have your feedback. Ask questions. I have the comment screen up. Happy to interact with anyone who has questions, comments, feedback of any kind. So this week, a lot to get into. Literally a lot going on in the world of sports. So we're going to cover NBA Finals, wrap up of Game 6, and a look ahead here to 7. Game 7 for sure is going to be a lot of fun. The WNBA and the real truth as I see it. So much going on there, as you can see in the images, and I'll share some more here in a moment. The Lakers, the majority interest of the LA Lakers sold this week. So a lot going on with that and the ramifications of what that means for the league, not just the Lakers, but for the league. LeBron, Luka, and LA as a super popular franchise going forward. And then I have a portion that may perhaps aggravate some of the parents out there, but it just needs to be said, is what I believe is a very, very serious problem in youth sports. And it's kind of twofold, threefold. And I'm going to go over that. Common mistakes that parents make, and then what those mistakes translate into in terms of challenges for young people growing up. Not telling people how to raise their children. I'm simply stating what I've learned over the years as a coach and studying this in the manner in which I do. Happen to know a lot about it. But first, our segment that we like to start every single week with is PB43. So it might end up being 5. If you follow the news a lot, everybody knows by now about Shedeur Sanders in the month of June was caught speeding not once but twice, once for 96 miles an hour and once for 101 miles per hour. So obviously with me doing this, I have to follow all sports on a very, very regular basis, all day, every day. And social media is a part of that. And I have watched and listened to so many people out there say, so what? And say, big deal. And say, you're hating, not me, but just in general, anybody who is talking against what he did. And I just think that a larger point is being missed here. And I've talked about this ad nauseum for months and months and months and months about Shedeur Sanders. There is no question that this is the beginning of a whole bunch more to come. In my opinion, which is why I stated on January 19th that he should not be drafted until the 5th round, is because an NFL quarterback is one of 32. It is a prestigious job. Only 32 of those jobs in the NFL exist in the world, the country, the world. What comes with that responsibility or the responsibility that comes with that job is something on some wholly other different level. You are a CEO, you are a CFO, you are a COO, basically, of a franchise, of a team. Now, we all make mistakes. We're all human. I get it. Zach Edey from the Memphis Grizzlies just did the same thing, 100 miles an hour or something, 96, 95. And people say, oh, you only make a big deal about it when it's Shedeur Sanders. No, it's a big deal when anybody does it. If you go 100 miles an hour, no matter what, it's basically reckless. Nothing good can come over. Like I was taught growing up, nothing good can happen after midnight. Nothing good can happen after 2 a.m. Well, nothing good can happen going 100 miles an hour when you don't have a helmet on and you're not in a race car. Even then, it can happen. But that's what they do. To drive on a street at 100, 101, 102, whatever, is not safe. And then you do it back to back in the same month. It just defies any type of logic. And one of the reasons that it amplifies it so much is he's told everybody in the world that he's legendary and that he's ready for this and that he'll change the culture and he'll do all of these things. And he's been just demonstrative about it and arrogant about it. And his dad the same and his brother's the same. And it's like, all right, so some people started to try to take him at his word. And then he does this. He didn't just do it once, he did it twice. And I just think it's the beginning of a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to pop up the first interaction he had with the media. I'm going to pop up this video file and listen to what he says and how he addresses this question. It's just mind-blowing. It's like, does this guy take anything serious? It's almost as if he brings this on himself. And I want you to pay attention to the guy next to him saying he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. Check this out.
Like, what's wrong with y'all?
I'm just a little boy.
You didn't do nothing wrong. I haven't seen anything wrong.
He's talking about overall in life. You know, I made some wrong choices personally, and I got owned up to him. I made some, not great choices.
He's saying that because he's an accountable person.
I learned
We're from the real people.
I learned.
He don't be doing it.
I learned.
He's accountable. I like it.
So he says he learned, right? This after doing it not once but twice. And that was just a few days ago at David Njoku's charity softball game, I believe it was. And yeah, he says, I've learned. And the other guy says he does nothing wrong because he's accountable. And that's just cleanup. That's like cleanup on aisle 3 because he's in a very down a path and down a lane after rookie minicamp, OTAs. And it's like he knows he's being watched. A 5th-round draft pick, he's trying to be the number 1 starter, obviously, or the starter for the Cleveland Browns, and that's just a bad way to get started. So I don't wish no bad on anybody. Is nothing against him personally. It's just his track record is such, his attitude is such. You could see the arrogance there. He's so, instead of paying attention to the question and answering it authentically in terms of responsibly, and showing true remorse and accountability, he doesn't think he did anything wrong. I just don't believe that. And you cannot be a quarterback in the NFL with an attitude like that. So good luck to him. And Cleveland Browns fans, I feel for you. I think there's a lot more incoming. All right. OKC and Indiana NBA Finals tied up 3-3. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock or 8:30, I believe it is. Game 7. Game 7 in any sport is it's a thrill, and players, young people, you emulate it. Well, people don't play in the backyard very much anymore, but I did, and you go through it, and you're announcing, and you have a chance, and it's Game 7, or it's the bottom of the 9th, or whatever the case may be, and whatever the sport it is. There's really nothing like it, and sometimes it lives up to it, other times it doesn't. I think tomorrow will live up to it. I'm going to show you some data here, numbers here in a moment, and it's so close. It is literally so close. The statistics between these two teams are extraordinary. And I'm also going to show you one stat that I take very seriously as a former coach, and when I played at young levels, is free throws. I'm going to show you the disparity there. We talked about it last week and how important it is. It's basically hidden points. People seem to lose track of what it stands for. Not coaches. Most of the coaches know what it is, but the fans out there generally miss what this is. And so let's pop that up. Pop this up here. So let's get a little larger screen here for you. Look at the blue is obviously the Thunder. The yellow is the Pacers. We got points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, turnovers, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. Look at the why is that blocked out? Oh boy. All right, so just that top one is blocked out, but it's basically 110.3, I believe, and 109.7. So they're almost scoring the identical same amount of points every game. Next line down, rebounds. It's mirror images. Assists is a little bit more to the Pacers' favor by roughly 6. Steals almost exact, blocks almost exact, turnovers that can change a game right there. 2.5 turnovers a game if you convert them. Field goal percentage is a point, a percent. 3-point percentage is 0.3%. And then the disparity of the free throws, 84.2% for OKC and just under 76% for Indiana. And look at this in the right column here, free throws. OKC attempted 183 to Indiana's 157, and 154 made for OKC to 119 made, and that's supposed to say Indiana. That's a typo. 119 made for Indiana. So that's 35 free throws made more for the Thunder than Indiana. Now, you've attempted more, so you should make more. But that's 35 points spread out over 6 games. If you want to just do an average, it's 6 points a game, right? That's a lot. That is a lot. People will say, "Oh, Shea and it, foul baiting and all that type of stuff, and it's stacked. The deck is stacked for OKC to win, et cetera, et cetera." I don't believe that, not for a second. I don't believe that. But that's a really interesting set of numbers there. It's so close. Let's look at the actual individual statistics here, and the logo there isn't in the way too much. Let's see if I can get that a little bit. I'll pull it up like this, full screen, and let me see if I can get that. Get the logo down. Well, Shea is at he's at 32, I believe, or 31. Let's go back down here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, Shea's at 30.5. Jalen Williams at 24.2. Obviously, that's really that's good. That's good balance up at the top. Your top 2 guys are scoring the points that they need to. Now look at Indiana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in double figures. OKC, which is 4 guys in double figures, and Dort is a couple points off from being in that. So Indiana has a tremendous balance. They get scoring from a lot of different guys, whereas Jalen Williams and Alexander take the majority and the bulk of the shots. They're going to have to do it again. And I think Indiana's going to play it the same way. They're going to look to get everybody involved. They're going to look to have a high assist ratio, share the ball a lot, and get contributions from a lot of guys. I mean, you're going to have Siakam is going to get his, and Halliburton's going to get his, but you'll see Obi and Miles Turner, TJ McConnell, man, that dude, that's really a great story of a guy who's 6'1", basically the smallest guy on the floor every night when he plays, averages like 22 minutes a night or something like that. And dude plays like he's 7'1". The heart of a warrior, the heart of a champion. And it's just, what he's going to do, but you really can't stop it because he's so crafty. He's so quick. He takes full advantage of his opportunities. He's got a very good field goal percentage. Let's look and see actually what it is for him. Let's see. Where you at, buddy? 53.7%. That's whoa. That's really good. So it's fun to watch him. 19 minutes per game. The columns are a little bit misaligned there, but 19 minutes a night. So call it 20 minutes a night. And when he comes in, it's instant energy. And if you really, there's 2 guys. I would look at 2 guys as to why this series is 3-3. It's Siakam, who I believe is the best player on the team. It's not Halliburton. That dude, I talked about it last week, motor that never stops. He's versatile. He can do a lot of things. He can play in transition. He can go down on the block and score. He can, fight for rebounds, get putbacks. He can shoot the 3 ball. I mean, it's really good. And that's another thing that's really kept Indiana in this. So when you look at the disparity, is their 3-point field goal percentage is more volume, more takes, and more makes. And we're in 3-3 here. And this is going to be a fun game 7. I cannot wait to watch it. I still believe that this is the best thing that could have happened for the NBA. There's a lot of people that disagree with that. Viewership disagrees with that. The numbers are down significantly. Mark Cuban, shout out. He doesn't like it when people talk like this, but it's the truth. In mass, in volume, people don't care about the NBA like they once did. It's just not the quality of the game. And again, when you study what people say every single day, as I do, you have your hardcore fans that it doesn't matter what the league does, they're going to be fine with it. But when you're not looking just to satisfy the hardcore fan, you're looking to stretch your base and get more to the fringe, and then bring in people who typically don't watch the game and give them a reason to watch the game. And, 3 ball. I said to somebody that follows me on X very closely and comments on a lot of the stuff that I said the other day, I said 3 after 3 after 3. As a coach, I didn't teach that. It's a part of the game, but it's just so much of the game. 70, 80, 3-point, 60 to 80, depending on the game, 3-pointers taken every single game. It's it's madness. It's live by the three, it's die by the three, and it's a really risky proposition. Players train for it, coaches coach for it, both for and against. It's just a part of the game that I think is just it's honestly it's too much, and people get turned away by that. It's just jacking up threes everywhere. And so the guy I mentioned, he knows I'm a big Caitlin Clark supporter, and we'll talk a lot about that in a few minutes here. But he says, Caitlin does it all the time. Well, yes, that is a huge part of her game, but she is so to the extreme of the female game, of the ladies game, like Steph Curry is to the NBA game. And I'm not adverse to taking 3-pointers, but it's when you're so good at it, like Steph is, and you're so good at it, like Caitlin is, all right, that is a part of your game, and that you should be taking those. But everybody wants to do it. And, guys go 1 for 7 and 0 for 8 and 2 for 9, and they just keep shooting them. Shoot or shoot. I get it. I taught it. You're going to miss way more than you make your entire career. It doesn't matter what level you're at. And so, generally speaking, yeah, you're going to make more. You're going to miss more than you make. And if you want to have any impact on a game and maintain any confidence in anything that you do, you have to continue to take them. Michael Jordan made a phrase very famous, missed 9,300 shots, but he had to keep taking the next one. I agree with that. So I'm not knocking that they continue to try them. If you miss, you still got to try, but it's too much. And so the viewership doesn't agree with this, but I still think this is the best thing for the NBA. This is a team-oriented game, more so by both. It's not an individual one-star guy. You could say Shea's trying to take the game over. You could say Halliburton and Spots is trying to take the game over. Siakam is trying to take the game over. You can even argue Jalen Williams is trying to take the game over. But it's nothing like a let me hold the ball with 21 seconds on the shot clock, and I'm just going to clear out, and I'm going to run it down, and I'm going to go one-on-one. We see some of that, but we see less of that. And it makes for a better product, in my opinion, to watch more for the masses. Again, the viewership is still down. People argue and debate the point all the time that viewership is down because of YouTube and other things, like this, even where people show clips, and that it's just games are watched in condensed formats. Games are watched in highlights. They don't watch the game to the same degree that they once did. I buy some of that. I don't buy all of that. If you have a terrific product on the court, on the field, on the ice, whatever it is, and you give people a reason to watch, generally people are going to watch. Even though our time is so stretched and our attention deficit is so all over the place with phones and digital and social media and so many different aspects of life, everybody's going in a million different directions, and maybe they don't. I think that is a shift that we see, is that maybe people don't watch sports on television as much as they once did. That's not shocking. That's not a surprise. And I'm not saying that's not true. It is true. But they're getting roughly 6, not even 6. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I went over them last week, but they're not great. And they're down significantly again, and it's not a good sign. But tomorrow night, I would imagine that the ratings will go up. Naturally, it's game 7. It's winner, win or go home. It's win, it's end. Win or it's over. Win, and you're gonna have the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Loser, you're gonna be remembered as a team that lost that. And if you're OKC and you're there again and you lose again, that's not good for them. And some say if they don't win this year, they never will again. I don't agree with that. This team is one of the few in the league that's set up to be this way forever. Basically, they are loaded with picks. They're loaded with young talent. They're an extremely deep team. They're very well coached. Sam Presti's one of the best GMs in sports history. Now, there's some teams that are going to try to pry him away, the Lakers maybe being one of them. But OKC is not going anywhere. And quite frankly, Indiana's not going anywhere. They're a very young, a lot of young guys on that team too. So these are two up-and-coming teams that, though they're in small markets and can't compete financially with some of the others, they've been built a way that takes a little bit longer, but a way that's very effective and doesn't rely on building your team through free agency. And that's one of the subjects we'll talk about today with the Lakers and the new sale and how that all changes. So that'll be interesting to watch tomorrow. I don't see OKC losing the game. I really don't. Home crowd. Let me just say this real quick. That was embarrassing the other night. You know, Chet Holmgren is 7'1" or whatever he is, and dude plays like he's 5'7". And this is stuff that it drives you if for all you out there who are coaches, you can relate to this. It drives you absolutely insane to watch talented players not exert the effort, not exert the energy, and walk around or run around or jog around and act like they just don't care, and that there's something in 2 hours that's much more important than what it is you're doing in that moment. And then you see the guys where it matters, like like McConnell, or most of the guys. Like, if you lose, it's going to affect you very deeply. Now, everyone's got a different personality. Some people are more intense than others. I get it. But Chet Holmgren gets outworked. Like, most of the time he's on the court. He'll have a splash game. He'll have, bursts. But on the total performance level, dude is lacking. And you're basically just taking up space, and you're wasting a roster spot or one of the five on the floor. He has to step up tomorrow, and he has to play. Now, he's a string bean piece of spaghetti. Dude is 7'1", basically 200 pounds. They move him and they beat him up, and that's part of why he can't do it. The guy's got you're talking about a guy who's basically 7'9", 7'8" with his wingspan is ridiculous. And he doesn't even use it to his advantage. And then when he tries to, those guys make up the difference by elevating up off the floor. And so they're as high as he is, and they're playing with physicality and moving him. And he's not strong on the ball. He's not strong off the ball. And it's like, bro, you got to step up in this game. They need you. Hartenstein is the opposite of that. Hartenstein isn't as skilled offensively, but he's a beast in terms of physicality. But you have one element with one guy, another element with the other guy, and it's like you wish you had one that has both. I mean, every team wishes for that. You wish you could convert them into the full package. One has an ability that the other doesn't have. And I don't understand how they don't have him on. I know some guys struggle really to put weight on, but there's got to be a way to increase his bulkiness to make him more effective without affecting other parts of his game. I mean, these are the greatest, therapists and conditioning coaches in the world. Got to find a way. So I expect him to play better tomorrow. I expect them all to play better. That was embarrassing the other night. Just because that you have a game in your pocket and that you're going to go home, it doesn't mean you go out there and you be lax and lose by 30. Indiana's going to play like their lives depend on it. You're down, 3-2. If you lose, it's over. So that you need to meet a very high level of energy on their home court. It's difficult to do. The way our mentality is constructed is we naturally have a tendency to let down. And if you do not have super, super, super high, mentally strong guys like a Jordan, like a Kobe, they just won't tolerate it. They won't accept it. It's not allowed. You don't want to get on those guys' bad side. They just didn't operate like that. And those teams that's why Jordan has 6 rings. That's why Kobe has 5 rings. It's one of the reasons is they just didn't accept performances like that. It didn't matter if you were up 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. These guys have that killer instinct mentality in a sports sense all the time. I don't believe either of these two teams have that. And that's one of the differences in the new game versus the old game. And people say, I'm an old man and I'm from the 80s and 90s. Well, it's the truth. Guys don't play with the same level of intensity and the same level of, I want this, I need this, I have to have it. And if I don't have it, it's going to ruin my summer. Whereas these guys, they have all the money in the world. It's not going to ruin their summer. The next day is the next day. Now, there are some, but again, looking at the full picture of the entire league, these guys are set for life. It wasn't that way back then. You were playing for your team first and a contract second back in the day. And so it reflected in your performance. It reflected in your intensity, your tenacity, your will, your resistance to quit under any condition. It's different now. And I don't think it's ever coming back. There's too much going on in society right now. There's too much money involved where human nature, you're in a mental struggle. You're in a fight. Do I need to do this or do I want to do this? There's a difference between the two. You have to want to do it. They don't need to do it because they have all the money. You have to want to do it. In the old days, in the Jordan days, in the early Kobe days, in the early Garnett days, in the Magic and Bird, Isaiah, all of those guys, you wanted it and you needed it. It was dual. It was two pronged. Now it's one. You want it, but you don't need it. And that's a breakdown. And I'll be honest with you, that just came. I didn't have that plan to say. And as I'm thinking about myself saying it, I'm thinking that really makes a lot of sense. Wanting it and needing it at the pro level it's different now. You look at guys like Connor McDavid over at Edmonton, back to back. Now they've lost in 2 years, but he became even more famous for his locker room speech the year before and just went ballistic because the feeling of losing is greater than or more powerful than the feeling of winning. That is another way I think is a good way to explain it in terms of the way that it used to be, and very few guys have that now versus what it once was. That desire to win and to be great was so extraordinary, and it's not anymore. And that's unfortunate, and I think it's reflecting, and I think people see that, and I think that's honestly, I think that's a big reason why people have turned away from most sports. And it's a hard pull to get them in, and you got to give them reasons to get them in, and you can't give them reasons to tune out. And there's plenty of reasons to tune out to the NBA. All right, so this next subject is just wild. I'm going to pop this up, where I just think that the WNBA, while it is pulling in massive ratings now for obvious reasons, the league is not ready for this. I just at that point now where I've seen enough, and it's like they don't know how to handle what's going on. And I don't think they know how to do it at a league level. I don't know if they know how to do it at a team management level. I don't know if they know how to deal with it at a player level. I mean, it is systemic all the way from the top to the bottom. Now, you have the NBA, who owns most of the teams. They're happy about this. You have the franchise owners who own it. They're happy about this because eyeballs are coming to the game. But if this doesn't get fixed, and it doesn't get fixed soon, it's going to flip on its head. It's going to do a 180 the other way, and people that came in flocks, and the male audience is there, which is what they're targeting and what they want. And they're using sexuality as at the runways before every game. And I used the word about Sophie Cunningham the other day in a post, scantily clad, dressed. And a guy, he's like, "That's what you came up with?" I go, "I was trying to be politically correct. I was trying to be polite and not be, offensive or rude in any way." Some of these girls are coming in with half clothes, and I get what they're trying to do. But at some point, you're trying to make this the WWE, formerly the WWF. Is that what you're trying to do? Because that space is already taken, and this isn't going to work no matter what you try. I mean, it got so messed up last week that I put a post up and I said, breaking news announcing, the Indiana Fever have signed Ronda Rousey to a 1-year contract. And I put a picture of Ronda Rousey up there all ripped up, and it got like 28,000 views and hundreds of likes. And it was like, that's what this is kind of becoming. And I'm going to show you a couple clips here. And it's like, as I continue to watch this, and I put up a clip the other day, got like 32,000 views and a couple hundred, I think, or maybe 100 comments on YouTube. And it's like, people are like, they're pissed. This is like, and I'll get into the reasons why here in a moment. It's like, we all know the reasons why it's happening, but it's like, I don't think that there's any solution or plan in place to change it. Again, the leagues, the referees, I think racism is involved. Brittany Griner, she could say all she wants about, I don't remember what I said. The whole world has the video. You don't have to be this amazing, read the lips interpreter. You said effing white girl. This is ridiculous, effing white girl, or whatever it was. You said effing white girl. And it's like, she's Caitlin Clark's being targeted. The league knows she's being targeted. This is not new to this year. This happened last year. This is a continuation, and the severity level has gotten worse. And before I get further into that, let me pop up a couple of clips here that is just shocking to me. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is Kelsey Plum plays for the Los Angeles Sparks, and she's one that dresses literally with half clothes on and has half of her chest, to put it mildly, showing. And again, this is intentional. This is to drive viewership. This is to bring in eyeballs of males. Okay. So you're playing with fire when you do something like this, in my opinion. Number one, I think it's wrong. I think the moral compass is off. You shouldn't have to resort to that, to eyeballs. But the league has not made any money for 27 to 28 years. And these girls are not making a lot of money in the league. And so they're using the platform of the league to build their own personal brand outside of the league through sponsorship and social media clicks and other advertisements and sponsorships with people outside the league. So I understand the reason why. But when somebody asks you for an autograph and you are a WNBA player and you're one of the most popular WNBA players, you stop what you're doing and you give the autograph. That's what you signed up for. A lot of people disagree with that. I'm sorry, I don't. This is what you sign up for. Now, you can't sign every autograph, but there was literally like 3 people outside the bus. Again, I'll show it to you in a minute. You can't have an attitude with those people. Your league has been in the toilet for years. 6 teams folded, 5 relocated. You have 11 now. You have 2 more coming in. And if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, nobody would care. The expansion wouldn't be happening of 2 teams next year. And they're thinking about further expansion. You would not expand this league if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, point blank, period. So you have an opportunity of a lifetime. She's 30. Kelsey Plum is 30, about to be 31, I think, in a few months. And it's like, so you're not long for the game for very much longer. But you know what? You have an opportunity here. You're going to build your brands and things outside the game too, which is part of what you want. You make way more outside the game than you do in the game. You used to date, I think it was Darren Waller, she used to be with, is no longer. But she's built fame. She's built publicity. And this dude wants an autograph. Let me pop this up. This is crazy. To me, this is crazy. Now, she says it's creepy. She's a little freaked out or turned off. She says she's a little bit turned off. Another guy jumped in on when I posted this and said, I don't blame him. It's kind of weird. No, it's really not. Oh, he's got cards. He's got, playing cards of WNBA players. So maybe it's a little bit strange for a 30-year-old guy, but this is who you want. This is how you can change it. All right, here it goes.
Don't y'all find that kind of weird? Low-key? Like low-key, come on.
A little, but
Okay.
I'm
I'm really turned off right now.
I'm just a fan though.
I know, I appreciate that.
You sign one, you put my name on it.
One.
Awesome.
I'll sign one.
That's what I get you on that one.
Yeah.
Keep killing it this year. Appreciate that.
Whichever
one.
Now it's a little bit hard to hear there. I'm going to replay that.
The bus was right here.
Now, you look here in the beginning. Let me go back here. This is security right next to her. This man right here is security. He's got an earpiece in his ear. I don't believe he's a coach. I think he's security, and he's walking with her, and he's making sure she's okay. So this is, right outside the bus, just outside I believe it's outside the stadium. All right, let's listen one more time. Again, this is Kelsey Plum.
The bus was right here.
Going 2 hotels here.
Yeah.
Don't y'all
Yeah.
find that kind of weird? Low-key? Like low-key, come on.
A little, but
Okay.
I'm
really turned off right now.
I'm just a fan though.
I know, I appreciate that.
You sign one, you put my name
I'll
on
sign
it.
one.
Awesome.
I'll sign one.
That's what I get you on that one. Keep killing it this year. Appreciate that.
Whichever one.
So to me, that is that's just really kind of crazy to watch. That I can't quite fathom that a league that has struggled so much and it has an opportunity of a lifetime here to catapult this and try to get it to be sustainable. And she's one of the most popular, most well-known players in the entire WNBA, and she was before Caitlin Clark burst onto the scene. And it's like, you're going to tell a fan he wants an autograph. You're kind of creeped out. I don't get it. But anyways, All right, I'm going to show another clip here of the Royal Rumble that happened last week. I still can't believe it. When I put the clip up and I said I still can't believe it, it was like 28,000, 29,000, no more than that. It was 33,000, I think. And comments coming from all over, and there's like 99.9% that think it's egregious, it's ridiculous. And there's only one sport that, I mean, you got rugby out there, okay? So we're not going to, rugby is designed to knock somebody's block off, and they don't have any pads on. The only other legitimate, sorry about that. It's not that rugby is not legitimate. The only other popular mainstream sport, and it's at the lower mainstream, but it's hockey, and that you have padding on, you have a helmet on, and a lot of times you'll see a guy get pinballed. Generally speaking, though, when it appears that a player is injured, usually you don't see it. Injured or something stops them where they have to take a moment to gather themselves, and then somebody else bumps you, and then somebody else comes and knocks you over. You usually don't see that. And in my opinion, one of the reasons you don't see that is retaliation is coming. If you think of Gretzky, if you think of Yzerman, if you think of Mario Lemieux, you think of all the great hockey players of past years, even in the more closer years. If you touched one of their superstars, you're done. Every team had an enforcer. And some, like the Red Wings, who I grew up with, you had the Bruce brothers, you had Probert and Kocher, and you had other tougher guys on the team. Later, it was, Darren McCarty, and it was, other guys like Kirk Maltby and other tougher guys that you had a price to pay, and your guy was going to take on the other guy, Ty Domi, Troy Crowder, Craig Cox, Jim Kite. I mean, I could go Larry Playfair, Dave Semenko. I could go on for days who those players were. Is the WNBA trying to do that? I mean, Sophie Cunningham had to be the Bob Probert of the Indiana Fever. That's crazy. When she goes around and she's 6'1" and a pretty gal, and she's selling herself sexually. And a lot of people just learned this week that she has a black belt in Taekwondo that was obtained at 6 years old. I'm not 100% sure if she practices it still, but generally speaking, when you gain that at 6 years old, you don't lose. It's like kind of riding a bike, even if you don't practice it. And you'll notice in this clip that she goes right for head control of the girl Marina. Her last name escapes me, who's known for this enforcer type stuff. And this is just amazing to watch. We'll watch it a couple times here. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but let's look again.
To the face as well. It'd be interesting to know if they're going to look at that first one for a flagrant foul. There was an impact, or there wasn't wind up or follow through, but there was a direct hit to the eye of Clark, and then just a totally unnecessary body bump.
Is mind-boggling. All right, so let's watch this again. So she's bumping her, and the word around the league is Caitlin Clark can't take a physical defensive approach. And there are a lot of basketball, which is my background. There's a lot of players who are extremely skilled offensively that they don't like it when the other team is physical. There's reasons for that. It can take you out of flow. It takes you out of rhythm. It takes you off your spot. It's no different than a quarterback. There's a lot of defensive players, schemes, coaches that try to intentionally beat up the quarterback more. You play a game with their head, you get them off of their game, and it affects performance. So that's what's happening here. And not this game, but the last game, the coach came out from the other team in a press conference and said, "Oh, tell us about this game, yada, yada." And she says, "Oh, yeah, we know she doesn't like physical contact." So she's a marked person because of her fame and popularity. And in my opinion, and I have videos up where I've talked about this, she is not only disliked because of the way she burst on the scene in now year 2, has acquired all of the fame. There's some people that don't believe she's deserving of it because she hasn't earned it. She hasn't stayed in the league long enough. People say, what about me? Why her and not me? Look what I've done. I have a body of work. The way, what I think it is all those things, but it is the way that she carries herself with all of this fame. It's really, really, really hard to do. It's almost squeaky clean. And I don't think people like that. I think they're trying to bait her and take her off of it, which is kind of crazy. The dynamic of that, it's like she is bringing the eyeballs to help you all. Now, most of the women in the WNBA believe that they don't make enough money. And some are saying that they don't make money like the men's league makes. The men's league is profitable and is bringing in, and I'll talk about this in a minute, the revenue for the Los Angeles Lakers last year was $522 million. Okay, $522 million. The WNBA game, the girls' game, doesn't generate that type of money. Hence the reason you can't pay them that amount of money. There's no owner of any team, of any franchise that is losing money already before the first game ever is losing money, is going to pay more money to lose more money. It just doesn't equate. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical. It doesn't work. So they have her as a marked person. We could debate the reasons why, but yeah, somebody said the other day, I think it was Nick Wright said, this is brilliant by the NBA and this is going to work. And it is for now. No question about it. It is for now. They're going to tune into the next game to see if somebody does the same thing. The other night was a 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time, because they played on the West Coast, and I do believe they're playing again on the West Coast. They're on a little bit of a swing here, but the eyeballs will be there, and they're going to watch what the next team does. They're going to watch how she responds. They're going to watch what Sophie Cunningham does, because this has brought even new fame and popularity to her. All right, so let's see here.
Clearly, that's a foul.
And it's contact to the face as well. It'd be interesting to know if they're going to look at that first one for a flagrant foul. There was an impact, there wasn't wind up or follow through, but there was a direct hit to the eye of Clark. And then
I don't have the clip here, but this Marina Mabry girl who comes in and pushes her, she's caught later on.
There was a direct hit
on the sidelines. That's her hitting her. And someone throws her a water bottle and must say something. And she says, I don't give an F. Like, she's known for this, and she's their enforcer. She's a thick gal and very strong, obviously, and is going to take those liberties against Caitlin Clark. But that's a shit show. And then I don't have the clip up here, but when she comes down the other end of the court, and you have you have Sophie Cunningham, getting head control and pulling her down was her sticking up for her teammate. You got to do it. And I think you're going to see more of that. And if you see too much of that, people are going to tune out. Somebody said, of those 40, 50, 60, whatever comments it was, the multiple guys are like, we don't want to tune in to watch this. We want to tune in to watch them play basketball and see what happens. And I think it's interesting right now, but you will see more of that. And you will completely destroy this opportunity that you have before you, WNBA, if you don't get control of this. And it's like they didn't even eject her from the game. They gave her a flagrant 1. It's supposed to be flagrant 2, which would eject you from the game. And then they came back after the game and upgraded it to a flagrant 2. And it's like, how do you not see that? There's 3 of you on the court, and there's ability to, it's going to backfire. It's good for now. It won't be for later. So we'll see what happens as they go forward. All right, moving on to the Lakers and the sale. Let me get this up here on a split screen here. So the Buss family, who's been, an all-in family-owned business forever. They don't have any other interest. The Lakers is their business to them. They don't have a portfolio of products that goes into, private equity and all sorts of other hedge fund managers and stuff like that. You see more and more of that coming into the game. Mark Walters took over the let me get this off of here. Oops. The Mark Walters, who's a major billionaire, took over the majority ownership stake. Man, come on off here. Took over the majority stake. There we go. Took over the majority stake from the Buss family. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but in 2021, as you see up there in the upper right-hand corner, in 2021, him and his partner took a 27% ownership at the time. And so the Lakers had already sold part of this in 2021. I think, I think Magic's stake was divested in 2010. These are the owners currently. Mark Walters Group now owns 75 to 76%. These are, basically rough numbers as they iron out the finalization of that. He acquired an additional 48% after the 27% in 2021. The Buss family the Buss Family Trust will retain approximately 17 to 18%, reduced from the 66% after selling 48% this week, or it was announced that was it. Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, who invented a pancreatic and multiple other forms of cancer drug to help, is a very, very wealthy man, owns 4.5%, and he acquired that from Magic in 2010. And then Ed Roski Jr., minority owner since 98, so 27 years, still has 2.5 to 3%. So Laker fans are in heaven right now. They love the fact that this has happened. I talked to a couple of them throughout the week, and because from an outsider's point of view, and someone who understands business, now Mark Walters and his group owns the Los Angeles Dodgers. There are some minority owners in there, but they own the overwhelming majority share of the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Yankees, as we know, spend more money than anybody else. And we know who the Dodgers are and how good they are, and they have ability because of the deep pockets in a non-salary cap league to spend until their heart's content. They have massive TV deals, and they have certain advantages over lower market teams. Tampa Bay Rays would be one as an example. There's many. Miami Marlins. There's a lot of teams that don't have the same advantages as a team in LA. It's just a much bigger market, much more people, much bigger TV deals, and no cap, and they can just outspend a team like Miami or outspend, other smaller markets, even Detroit, where I'm from. So there's a lot of people excited that say, oh, this is going to make them an instant winner. I'm going to show you some numbers here that are really interesting. First, though, from a business perspective, from a natural extension of one another, this allows them to coexist or mesh operations for the Dodgers and operations for the Lakers and make that seamless. That will help bring assets to the forefront in scouting, all sorts of development, training, all of the aspects necessary to build a totally rounded out, successful franchise. They will now have the ability to do that. The Lakers under the Buss family have been known, particularly in the last 10 years, to have limited flexibility financially to make things more attractive from those standpoints, to have the best scouting, to have the best facilities and other things. And I'm not quite sure why, when in 2023 and 24, they had a $522 million revenue line and a $200 million operation management or operation budget line for a net profit of $322 million. Now they are way over the cap, and I'll show you that number in a moment. And they're way past the luxury cap, which is a major luxury tax level, which is a major hit to the profitability of a franchise. But they can't go way over like the Celtics at $227 million. I'll get to that in a second. So if you look right ahead of the white box here, you see salary cap is 140.5. It's a soft cap. It's not a hard cap, meaning you can go above that if you want. You could go above it, above the 140.5, anywhere up to 171-ish. You ever take a couple dollars, give or take a couple million, without incurring the luxury tax. Once you hit the 171, I think it's 171.4 or 0.1, now there is a luxury tax, which is very, very expensive on every dollar you go above, and you have to pay that to the league. So if you look here, and it's cut off a little bit, unfortunately. I believe they are right around 191 or 192. So there's some 20 million, 22 million over the luxury tax. I have in black there, the Celtics are 227 million. Let me see let me pull the ticker down for a moment here. I was right. 191,590. So 191,590,000. This is for next year. And you can see the individual salary allotment there and guaranteed money. You can see all of that. You can even see part of 26 and 7, 27 and 8. So 191, they're 20 million over the salary cap. Celtics are way over at 227. So they are paying a ton of extra money. In addition to being 50 million over, it's a massive hit in tax for going over the 171. So the Laker fans are excited because they believe that Mark Walter is going to go at least at that 227, if not beyond, and will without any hesitation take on the extra money so that they can go get more megastars. If you look here, you'll see LeBron is 52.6, Luka 46, Rui, and then Finney. They want another $50 million guy. They want another Giannis. They want another one of these big time guys to be able to win. Money, in my opinion, has not been managed very well for this team. There's nothing there. LeBron has done. Upper left-hand corner, you can see I'm the elephant in the room. He's going to count for 52.6-ish million on the salary cap. Looks like he's coming back for another year. He's done. It's a circus show. I'm not going to get into that, but he's taking up a lot of the money there. And then you see Luka at 46, and he'll be up for more money. The max deal, super max deal changes because he's not with the Mavericks anymore, at least here for a little bit. It'll kick in later. And then you go down 17, 14-9, 12-9. Austin Reeves is going to be up for a ton of money, and he's well-deserving. You could see pointing. You see the graphic I have there where he's pointing towards Luka, and I have that he should go, I should stay. I personally believe ask LeBron to step away, trade Luka Doncic for the highest amount of assets you can have, build around Austin Reeves. You now have money to spend. Let me just hit you with this. Luka Doncic does not have the type of personality to be the guy you build your franchise around. He's not an alpha male number one guy in terms of, hey, everybody follow me, I'm going to take us to the promised land. It's not. He's not built that way, and that's okay. He doesn't have to be the number one that way. He can be a number two or a number three in that way and do what he does on the court, but you're going to go invest. It looks like they're going to trade Austin Reeves away. LeBron's going to come back for another year. He'll be the alpha male on the team as long as he's there, which is only going to hurt the team. And Luka's going to be sitting there in the wings, it appears, as the heir apparent. I just don't think that's a good move. And I don't know if you're going to bring in now. How are you going to bring in an alpha male after LeBron retires? How are you going to bring somebody in above Luka? They're clearly paving, it looks like, the path and the way for Luka to take over the number one alpha spot. I just don't think he has it. He got in great shape now after the season because they were called out by JJ Redick and others. We're going to be much more better conditioned for the upcoming year. And Luka has shown year in and year out that he's out of shape, that he's a whiner, he's a complainer. I just don't see that happening. So it'd be interesting to see how Mark Walters' group changes this. If he keeps Pelinka in the spot, Jeannie Buss is going to still continue as a board of governors role. And by the way, the 17 board of governors role for some period of time that has not been defined, a 18% ownership stake for some, it's listed as some period of time. And maybe that'll get reduced more and he'll buy more stake in it. Maybe the Buss family, because of just tradition's sake and historical sake, maybe will maintain, a couple, 2, 3, 4% at some point. But it's the same people as we know it today. It's the same people making the decisions. We'll see how the dynamic of that changes and if Pelinka keeps the job or if they bring in their own people. I personally think that Sam Presti is going to be on their radar. I believe Sam Presti might be, if not the best, for sure, top 5 best general managers in basketball, NBA basketball history. What that guy can do, and it's in a small market too. So it's like, I don't really buy into this, we don't have the facilities I don't have OKC's numbers up here, but we don't buy into. I don't buy into we don't have the facilities, we don't have the scouting staff, we don't have this. It's as smaller market as you can, about as smaller market as you can get. And these guys got oodles and oodles of number 1 picks for years to come. They're in the finals in Game 7 tomorrow night. It's like you don't have to go spend ignorantly and go put yourself way, way the hell over in a salary cap. So this whole notion about the Lakers and, oh my God, we're just going to go spend and spend. Mark Walters a businessman. Mark Walters is used to winning in business. He's won in sports. You know, he owns the Los Angeles Sparks already. He owns Chelsea FC, and he owns the ladies professional. I don't have this in front of me. I'm going off memory. He has the Women's Pro Hockey League also in his portfolio of sports teams. Already had a significant stake in the Lakers. He's not just going to come in here and spend $500 million and just spend money to spend money like aimlessly. A person in his position doesn't do that. You're going to only spend money if you are pretty damn near certain that it's going to pay off and that it's going to win. These guys don't throw good money after bad. So Laker fan, just chill, man. The situation is not very good in terms of your books and how it sits right now. And all this talk about bring Giannis over, and he doesn't want to leave, number one, so it's a useless argument. And I just don't see that as changing much. You have no depth to your team. You're top heavy at 3 guys, basically 4. If you include Rui, who's a pretty nice player, as a complementary role guy, 3rd, 4th option is nice. LeBron's in the way. And I'm telling you guys, I've been saying it and I'm going to say it again. You can look right on the screen there at Luka Doncic, and you can look on the screen right there at Austin Reeves. If Austin Reeves had the same output in terms of opportunities and minutes and opportunities schematically around him, you would see him put up essentially the same or better numbers than Luka. He's a fraction of the price, currently at $13.9. He goes up to $14.9, not next year, the year after. He goes up to $15 million. That's insanity. And you're paying this guy $50 million. Austin Reeves is a hell of a ball player. He's shown it when he's had the opportunity. He can go put 37 and 7 up every night too. I mean, Luka's a little bit higher than that in the rebounds and assists, but Luka's a 27-point-a-game guy? Austin Reeves could be a 27-point-a-game guy too, and he plays better defensively than Luka. Nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to own or admit up to that because Luka's this big name, 77, and he's just a more polarizing figure than Austin Reeves, more the quiet guy, the newer guy on the scene. He's never been the number 1. I think he can be a number 1. And if he isn't a number 1, he's sure damn a 1B or a 1A rather. So again, if I'm the Lakers, ask LeBron to step away, send him to Cleveland, let him go retire wherever he wants, get whatever you can get if you can. Luka, highest bidder right now, today. Sell him right now after the draft. You want to wait till after the draft, during the draft, whatever. Sell him. Go get 5 number 1s. Go get 2 superstars right now. Somebody will be out there crazy enough to pay it. He's a one-dimensional guy. He's not a franchise leader. Sell him. If you want to build this franchise the right way and you want to take good advantage of Mark Walters' group, forget the fact that you're the Lakers and you got to have this. The Lakers, the Jack Nicholson, all these people, if you win, they'll come out. The stars, they will come out to watch a winning product, and there will be plenty of guys that they can put in there that are entertaining, but building your franchise around Luka Doncic is a mistake. All right. That's just, I feel really, really strong about that. All right. This one here might, upset some people a little bit, but that's okay. I have to go through this. So and I know this from a coach and from studying it. I study all of the scientific data all around the country and all different pockets of the country. Obviously, I have 8 years as a middle school, high school, AAU coach, camps, the whole 9 yards. I've known a lot of people and known a lot of parents that put their kids through sports. I've watched a lot of things from close, even though I don't have my own kids. People will say, you don't have any kids. How could you speak to this? That's right. I don't have any kids, but I have an opinion and I have a lot of experience in this way. And I'm mentoring now on this way for players, coaches, and parents. So there's 10 common mistakes that sports parents might make. let's go through the 10. I'll go through this really quickly. Number 1 is pressure to play in certain sports. It's not the parents' decision, folks. It's not your decision. Sorry, I'm not telling you how to raise your child, but there's problems in that come up later, and I've seen them. I saw them while I was a coach. I've seen them post being a coach. I've talked to different players over the years. It has a profound, lasting impact, and there are regrets. And one of the worst things, as we know in life, is regrets. Pressure to play certain sports because you want them to, and don't really communicate and identify what it is they want to do. We see number 2 a lot. I think a lot of people admit this. I think a lot of parents see this, where a parent is living vicariously through the student athlete. Maybe they didn't do it. Maybe they just want their kid to be the best. They're living vicariously through them as if they want it more than the player themselves wants it, earns it, deserves it. And that's really unfortunate. And I've seen that. I've coached in situations where family members were that. They were loud. They were obnoxious. It was about them. It's not about the parents. It's about the athlete. It's about the student athlete. Student first, athlete second. And we've lost track of that. It isn't about you. It isn't about how you get along with other parents or what status you have or how good you feel about yourself. It's about the person. And if you look at me right there, that's a real player from Ward Woods Tower. I'll say his first name, Tavion. What a really good kid. Honestly, a really good kid, but really, really shy, had a lot of talent. No one ever gave him a shot. And I started to give the kid a shot. Very quiet, very shy, doesn't talk, doesn't have a lot of family support. No one, to my knowledge, no one ever came out and watched him play. Felt really, truly bad for this young man. And it's like he just wanted to play, and he wanted a chance, and he wanted to feel good about it. And boy, from where he started at the beginning of the year to where he ended, it was like one day he went crazy. I think it was 14 or 16 points. Dude's going between the legs, behind the back, fadeaways. It was like what the bench was going wild. I was going wild. It's like we saw some of that stuff in practice, but it's like, holy cow, in the game. And I got the goosebumps right now because, folks, parents, that's what it's about. And this is not to every parent in terms of not everybody does the wrong things, but there are plenty out there. There are plenty out there. The studies show it. There's a burnout effect. Parents are trying, especially now with NIL, for years we're trying, let me see if I get my kid good enough to get a scholarship and I'll get money off. And now it's NIL, and I want to turn my son or daughter into a money-making tool. This is egregious. It's terrible. It's harming these young men and women. The overwhelming majority, 90 whatever percent, will never, ever play a game at that pro level that pays them money. And there are people that just, it's like they think it's going to happen. All right, number 3, overscheduling of the athlete. It's insanity. There are some people that own multiple businesses, and these kids run bigger schedules. This travel, that. I'm not going to get into a lot of that in a moment. And again, I'm going to get blown up for this, but this is what we're seeing on some of the things we see on Sundays, some of the things we see on Saturdays, some of the things we see at the college level. This is why. This is one of the reasons why, folks, you're contributing to this. And then people say, I don't like to watch this, and look at the attitude, and it's the me athlete. It's not the team. This is part of the reason why. It doesn't start in college. Hello, this is starting 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade on into high school, and then beyond. This is a major problem, and it's at the youth level. This is where it gets impressed upon, and in many ways a negative way, many ways a positive way. Sports is a massive part of life. On my mentoring division, I talk about sports, life, and business. It's all connected. It is all connected. Each one of those categories fits with each other. So a lot of people do it the right way. I don't want to get away from that. Number 4, participating in sports politics. This is really bad. And I saw something yesterday. I won't mention what it is. It likely has to do a lot with politics. the sports politics of it is really bad. It's over the top. It's harming. It isn't fully legit. You're going to make my team if you do this and this. Let me take care of you with this business deal, that and that. It's just detrimental. I understand the concept of it. I understand the manipulation of it to a degree, but it's dangerous. And there's somebody caught in the middle of you thinking it's best for your son or your daughter, and maybe it's not. Just maybe it's not, and maybe everybody just really needs to look at themselves, for that. Number 5, alternate messaging from the coach. This is so common. Parents give a different message than the coach from the time they pick them up to the time they leave. I've talked about this in the past. Number 6, lesson focus on academics. This is a huge problem, massive problem. Sports, more so now than ever. And it was even when I grew up playing. Man, I got practice. Oh, I'm in school thinking about the game. I'm talking to the person or practice. I'm talking about the game, whatever the case may be. It's a Thursday. I'm talking about, we used to play on Sundays when I was in middle school. And it's like, we're talking about the game. And, somebody get all up in your shit and say, you need to focus on your school, right? And went to grade school, middle school with nuns. They'd hit you on the ass. They'd call you out. I remember picking my finger one time in class, and it was a Sister Concetta. Mr. Burkhardt, is your nails more important than diagramming sentences? She called me out right in front of the class. You do that now, it's like a lawsuit. But lesson focus on academics is not good. Knowledge of travel versus recreational ball. Everyone wants to play travel ball. Everyone wants to play travel hockey. And it's like, and I'm going to get into it in another slide I'm going to pull up in a minute, but what this does is intense. There are long-lasting effects, and I'll get into a little bit of what I saw on a business level when you try to hire somebody who becomes 20 and 18, 19, 20, 21, when they realize that their pro aspirations were false, and they're totally unprepared for a workforce, and they're stunted by 5, 6, 7 years. This is serious. This is affecting our lives. This is affecting your lives. The quality of society, the quality of our everyday lives is being impacted and being missed, in my opinion, in some ways on a pretty significant level. It's different in certain pockets of the country. It's different in certain sports versus others. But it's damaging. Knowing the difference between if your son or daughter should be playing recreational, also known in the hockey world as house, versus travel. Travel's intense. Some of these travel schedules, these are college type level worse. Honestly, they're worse. College has certain stipulations and certain rules and policies. You can only practice a certain amount of time. These travel teams, over the top. It's 12 months a year, 11 and a half maybe. It's too much, folks. It's too much. The numbers don't lie. The impact long-term on some of these players doesn't lie. The proof is in the pudding. Number 8, not observing change in the desire of the student athlete. Maybe they don't want to play that sport. Maybe they don't want to play anymore. Maybe they want to play another sport. Maybe they want to hang around with their siblings. Maybe they want to hang around with a friend. Maybe they want to do something else. And I believe this because I saw it, because I heard it, because I talked to parents, because I've studied this. Is like, if my kid's not in sports and my kid's not playing, or kids is not playing travel, then I don't fit. Then they won't befriend me. They won't be friends with me. That's dangerous. That is really, really dangerous when you think about, we only have an opportunity to be youthful once in our life. Once. How many of us, I'm be 53 end of this month, how many of us have any regret and wish we could be a certain age again? How many of us? I think it's a lot. I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of studying human behavior and the human condition over the years. We want to say, if I could go back, I would do this. If I go back, I could do that. Boy, I wish I could be 18 again. I wish I could be 20 again. How about these guys? How about these girls? Are we thinking? Are we thinking? Are we thinking about key areas of life, key areas of friendship, key areas of being a sibling, of a family? You can't get it back. Oh, my kid grew up too fast. Oh my God, my kid's moving out. Oh my God, I wish they were 12, 14 again. Well, if they're in a rink all day and they're in a gym all day and they're in a training complex all day, all night, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days a week, and they do this for 10, 12 years. So you're basically what? 10, 8, 7, right? Do that for 10 years. So 10, 11 years, you've gone from 8 years old to 18 like that. Gone. 10 years gone. It's not to say that there's not going to be some good with that. There's a lot of good with that. There's also some very dangerous things with that. And I'll in the next slide, I'll come up with that. I'll cover that in a moment. A lost focus on what sports are actually for. Again, so much more about it's about me and mine instead of the team, to quote Bo Schembechler again. They're playing, a lot of people play for the wrong reasons, and that's a problem. Number 10, altercation with refs or parents. I put a lot of videos up, people hauling off and hitting referees, people hauling off and hitting umpires, charging coaches. These play, it's not even just in public school, because that tends to be what people say. Oh, it's in the inner city. Oh, it's in public school. No, it's not. No, it's not. It may be a little bit higher percentage there, but it's happening at all levels. It's happening in church ball. It's happening in Catholic. It's happening in Lutheran, Greek. It's happening in public, AAU. It's middle school, high school. Some of the things, recreational ball, some of these things that you see, it's like people are getting hurt. This is bad, really, really bad. In a lot of cases, not all. It's gotta be put under control. All right. So here are some of the things that I think that the slide that I just showed you, what it can lead to in terms of setbacks that I believe are common after a lot of study and what young players may face because of potential parental decisions. So number one is confusion on what they actually want in life, because they're being pulled, twisted, torn. Let me have a piece of you over here. Let me have a piece of you over there. And I'll be honest, 100% be honest. And I know some very famous coaches at the high school level and even college level, personally know them and have talked to them about this, that if you're a basketball coach, you wanted like 100% of their time. If you were a football coach, you wanted 100% of your time. Whereas inside, us coaches know that playing multiple sports is beneficial for a number of different reasons. You have a different coach, you have a different perspective. It's a different sport. It's a different muscle group. It's a different mind. And you mesh that together, and you can condense back down in your junior year. Let's say if you're in high school, condense back down in your junior year into maybe a focus on one sport, because you've gone through it, you've learned, you have seasoned yourself, and then that happens. But we want, I even had a guy, a former player of mine a few weeks back, and hopefully he'll be on next week. I'll get to that in a bit. That we want them all to ourselves because it's going to make our team better. And the athlete feels this. The student athlete feels this. Now, they like to be in demand. They like to be wanted. That's a good feeling. But to what extent is it detrimental? You're being pulled like a rag doll in a bunch of different directions. Play this, do this, no, don't do that. And there's confusion that takes place. And then there is a distortion of what they really want. They find it harder to determine what it is they want. Maybe they don't want anything to do with any of what's being suggested, but they can't say it because they don't know how to say it, or they're afraid to say it, or they might be looked upon poorly, or they might be looked as they think they might be looked as a baby or a wimp. And what will my friends say? What will my teammates say? What will my coaches say? What will my parents say? What will my aunt or uncle say? There's a lot to this, folks, and they're at a sensitive age where this can be very, very, very unhealthy. Number two, missed opportunities. Again, I talked about it on the previous slide. It's like you miss out on opportunities you can never, ever get back. They're gone. You're only 12 once. You're only 14 once. You're only 16 once. When it's gone, it's gone. There's no going back. And when real life hits, right, and you're 28 and 29, 20, a lot younger than that, you have responsibility and you have bills and you have a relationship and you have a career, you have all these types of things, you can very easily look back and say, man, I missed out on this, or I missed out on that. I'll tell you one that I've seen it a lot. I'll keep it at that. Missed opportunities with siblings, missed opportunities with other potential interests. When it passed, especially if there's an age difference between said player here and said brother or sister here. Let's say there's a 3-year, 4-year, 2-year age gap. There's that natural progression and span of, I'm 5.5 years separated from my brother, lost a sister in between. She was only 3 weeks old. Not that it makes it any less awful, but I grew up my entire life with a sibling that was 5.5 years older than me. So we grew up in life in two different phases. He was experiencing things that I wasn't able to experience. We were too far apart. He went to high school long before I did, was done with high school when I entered high school, drove long before I did, left home long before I did, got married long before I did. There's a lot of different things that already factor into life that you could miss because of the way the age is. Now, go throw yourself in a rink. Go throw yourself in a gym. Go throw yourself wherever on a field and working out year-round. You don't see those siblings. You don't have that family life. Those are missed opportunities, cherished. Now, some people have the means and the ability and the flexibility to do other things to help supplement that in certain type of ways, but I don't think it replaces it fully in terms of the closeness that you could have internally inside a family or with another sibling or with friends or just generalized missed opportunities that you would miss out as a 15-year-old, let's say, for 13, 14, 15, 16, because the choice was so pushed on you to do this, and this because of selfish reasons. That person might struggle with that negatively for the rest of their life. Number 3, exhaustion from go. Again, I'm telling you, as a basketball coach in high school, it is year-round, folks. It's like a job. If you're not in season, you're in off-season, you're in summer league, you're in different camps, you're in the weight room, you're on the track, you're sometimes in personal training. It doesn't stop. Please understand this and what you are getting into. If you are younger and you're still entering that phase, you may have thought or have watched others do it and think you have a good grasp on it. When you're in it, there's nothing like it. You can't even replicate it. You can't even properly prepare for it. When you factor in family, school, career, life, multiple children. If it's one, it's a lot easier. You start talking 2 and 3 children, whole nother level. That age gap, totally different. It's a affecting experience. They're exhausted, folks. The number one reason that young people stop playing sports, number one, is exhaustion. Yes, there's a cap. They realize they can't go any further. You can look it up. It's easily attainable, but number one is exhaustion. And in the travel world now, and in the pressure from parents to succeed for reasons that are far beyond what the player wants, what the son or daughter wants, it's exhausting. Number 4, sacrificed grades. There is absolutely no question that there is a huge percentage, a very significant percentage around the country where you see kids have to enter summer school, night school for the simple, not a simple reason, but for the reason that they're overscheduled, they're overworked, they're exhausted. Something is put before the other, meaning athletics is put before academics. And let me make this clear. I did it too. I did it as like, I loved being in the gym. I loved practice. I loved games. It was, but I didn't play in a travel era. There was no travel era back then. So I really can't, from my own personal life experience when I played, that didn't exist, and it does now. So 2 different eras and 2 different sets of circumstances, but balance was required in my life. That doesn't make me special, doesn't make me anything. It was required. Being at the kitchen table, it was required. having dinner with family, it was required. It's not anymore. And this will get to a couple here in a moment. So grades really suffer in this. Number 5, living in a rink or a gym too much. I talked about it a lot on the slide the other day. These young people are growing up someplace outside of a house. Number 6, cars and bars. They're eating in cars and they're eating in bars. And I'll get crushed for this. But again, I don't care. Generally speaking, generally, not in all cases, this is a general statement. It's not a blanket statement. When a sport ends or a sport is an all-day occurrence or an all-weekend occurrence, it's particularly in the travel world. And maybe you're out for a weekend. Maybe it's an all-day type of thing. And there are many of those. That's another thing, folks. These go on all day long. They go on all weekend long. They go on out of state, sometimes every weekend, every other weekend, 3 times a month. It's insane. So the youngster is growing up in a car, a rink, and a bar. And why do I say bar? Because parents get together, they go to the bar. Kids grow up where the kids go. Parents go where the parents go. And in a lot of cases, there's excessive drinking that takes place. Now, is this the example that we want to set for our young people? And it's excessive. In a lot of areas, it's excessive. I've seen it. I've literally seen it. I've experienced watching it. I've watched it on multiple levels. As a coach, as an observer, it's unhealthy. It's dangerous. Children, young people are being put around an alcohol environment as the thing to do. Now, and it's excessive. It isn't like, hey, let me just have one beer. It's who of the group can drink the most. Let's party. Like 35, 40, 45-year-old parents, let's party. Let's just have at it. There's people witnessing that. There's impressionable people witnessing that. There's an introduction into something like that. And as somebody who now mentors and who now talks to a lot of people and understands the core root of a lot of these issues, obviously we all know that these things happen from when we're young. And what we're doing in the sports environment, in the sports arena, there are things that are being done that on the surface appear to be very, very healthy, but it's gotten so out of control that there's a lot of negative things that are happening. And eating in a car, and eating in a bar, and living your every breathing, waking moment in a gym or a rink. And you're talking about a coach, right? Full disclosure, as a coach who believed in work, who believed in we're going to lay it out on the line, who would stretch the practices. And when I say stretch the practice, I'm talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 14 minutes type of thing. I'm not talking hours, but man, you got to get to this one more thing because we're preparing, we're prepping, we got to be ready, all of this type of stuff. I get it, but that's nothing compared to what we're talking about here. Lack of variety of friends. You grew up in a rink, one set of friends. You grew up in a gym, one set of friends. There is no real variety, variation. You're limited. It's one mindset. It's hockey people. It's basketball people. It's workout people. Have you exposed yourself or been exposed or been offered the opportunity? You're not making your own decisions at 15, 16. Our parents, are you giving your son or daughter an opportunity to experience more variety and more personality and more ways of life? Or is it one way? Because I'm telling you, as an employer, I watch this happen. I got to be employed where my friends are. I got to work next to, not my friends, my teammate. I got to be employed with a former teammate. I have to work on the same job with a former teammate. I don't want to work with anybody else. Why do you think that is, folks? That isn't just because you're friends with the person. That is because maybe you are socially restricted in certain areas and you don't know how to interact with somebody else that isn't from your, what you would say, way of life or the commonalities of we grew up in a rink together. We grew up on a team together. Some of that's healthy. Some of that's good. I get it. Guys go, football players, the jocks, they hang out. I got that. Please don't misunderstand me. Someone will blow me up on social and say that I'm exaggerating the point. But I'm telling you, I hate to use this word. It's almost gotten to a degree. It's almost cult-like. And it's only those people. You see it over and over and over. And so when the aspirations of becoming pro or the aspirations of signing an NIL deal are gone and life happens, now what? I don't think that parents are paying enough attention to this. Number 8, no real other life. There has to be variety. There has to be separation. There has to be something else. It's not easy. The pressures, I get it. There's different peer pressures now. I get it. I've studied it. I've watched it. I've coached it. I get it. But there's got to be something else. And this year-round stuff, it's tough. It's taxing on these as a student. That should be the priority. It's not, and that didn't just stop. That's been quite some time. But got to have balance. Number 9, sibling relationships easily strain. I touched on it a little bit ago, but I've seen this happen too. I saw it as a coach too. There are certain children that play certain sports that a parent or parents put more emphasis on. It's cooler. It's where the politically driven parents are. It's where the most influential parents are. It's where the most influential coaches are. So more attention gets put on that sibling, on that child, or more than one. And then there's somebody else that is also a son or daughter that plays in a different area that isn't as influential, that isn't as mainstream. And there's a natural letdown for that person. And they look at sisters, or they look at brothers, or they look at their life, and they think, I don't matter as much. And I wish, and then resentment starts. It's like, I think that there is a loss of grip on this. I think there's a lack of education on this. Parents I don't think in most cases are intending to do anything that's detrimental, but you get caught up in the hustle of it. You get caught up, quite frankly, in the BS of it. There's so much politics at a young level. It's one of the things, probably number one. One or 1A is what drove me out. Politics. You're not playing my kid enough. You should be playing my kid more. If you want this to happen, that's got to happen. The behind your back stabbing, the clicks, all of the different stuff. It's just unbelievable. And let's angle to get this coach in, and let's pay him money on the side, and let's do these different things because it's going to play my kid or play my kids, or whatever the case may be, and play somebody else less. And let's get so-and-so involved so they can root out so-and-so. And it's like, what has this become? Is this good? Is it a positive? There's a lot of it that is. Yes, 100%. Even with everything that I've listed, there are a lot of things. I've talked a lot about what all those positives are, but we can't just walk around and act like it's all good, because it isn't all good. And I've seen it as an employer. The after effects are stunning. I can't even describe it into words how serious it is. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse if things don't fundamentally change and people don't realize the impact and effect that it has on the person themselves. And number 10, it's the same thing as lack of quality time with family. That dinner time conversation, where's that? In the car, from the front seat to the back seat? Is that in some hotel room? It's crazy. It's totally crazy. And there's most people that are in travel have the financial wherewithal to do it. It's enormously expensive, and that's not going down. It's going up. And there's a lot of fundraising that takes place to try to offset some of those costs. But there isn't fundraising for hotels. There isn't fundraising for airfare. There isn't fundraising for gasoline and for other food costs and all sorts of other costs that are incurred as a result of this life. And then did it ever cross anybody's mind that as that young person gets they're so impressionable and they come up through that then they feel that they absolutely have to do it for when they have a child. Like, think about this. I'm challenging all of you parents out there that maybe find struggle or maybe be introspective a bit and look at potential damage that this could be causing to somebody you love so dearly. And you're potentially not doing it. You're potentially not doing it intentionally, but it's happening nonetheless. And if you get caught up in the rat race, you get caught up in the Joneses, you get caught up in the rigorous schedule, and you have your own career and you have your own life and your own home and your own spouse or partner, it's like you sometimes lose track. And that's part of my role now, is to bring awareness in certain areas and tell you from experience that I watched it. I study it. It's there. And it's not getting better. It's getting worse. There are long-term ramifications. There are long-term positives. There are also long-term negatives. Be honest, it's very difficult to find a balance because of the peer pressure. But ultimately, as a parent, the decision has to be made to do what's in the best interest of the now and do what's in the best interest of the future, of the young person, and not one's self. So again, I have a feeling that I will get a lot of heat for this as this gets launched and broken up and spliced up. But again, I don't care. And I'm going to keep on this topic, and I'm going to be a spokesperson, I think, in this way, because I've got a lot of experience in doing this. And even when I had my camps, I can tell you, when I had my camps, I got to leave because I have driver's training. I got to leave because of this. I got to leave because I'm in another camp. You're going to one camp and you're leaving that camp, which is 3 days, let's say, or 4 days, 3 days. And I'm going to spend 1 day at your camp. I'm going to spend 1 day at the other camp. What? Like, there isn't even a completion aspect to that. There's so much wrong with that. Make a decision. It's one camp or the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Make one decision, because you know what? In 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you don't get to work. I'm going to give 20 hours a week to this job and expect it to be full-time. I'm going to work 20 hours at this. You can accept me for 20, pay me like 40. It doesn't work, folks. It's not life. It's fantasy island, fantasy land. All right. Enough of that there. One more thing here, a couple more things here before I go. So anybody out there, if you are, a podcaster, a former player, or even a current player, former player, current coach, former coach, maybe you're a parent. Maybe you were a former athlete. You're a parent now, and you were a former athlete. You have something unique. You have a unique story to share. Do I hit on some topics that maybe you could relate to, or maybe you have an alternative opinion? You have a opposite opinion. That's fine. I encourage the feedback. I'd love for you to inquire about being on the show. There's a simple application. It's not even an application. It's just a form that simply tells a little bit of multiple choice, like 5 different ones, at pbsportstalk.com. Up on the top there, it says be on the show, and just click on that. It's got a simple questionnaire. Answer those questions. It comes directly to me. We'll see if it's a fit, if it's a topic based, and if it is, I'm going to reach out to you, follow up with you no matter what. But if it's something that's like really interesting, it really fits. Even if it doesn't fit, I'm going to look at that too, because I want alternative opinion. I want feedback from a different perspective. It isn't all about me. And you can join virtually from anywhere in the world, your home or office. As you could see on the screen there, that's a dual screen. You can pop in. We can pre-record a show. It can be live. Very flexible that way. And it's really simple to do. You could do it with your phone. You could do it with your laptop, any webcam. Very easy to do. A couple things that we would talk about ahead of time to get you set up for it. We go through, the segments and the basis of the show or the segment. Love to have you on. Please, if you haven't quite yet, on YouTube, subscribe to my channel at PB Sports Talk. And again, the website there, pbsportstalk.com. You can follow me there on X at PB Sports Talks, and on Facebook at PB Sports Talk. Live show every Saturday, and we can do some things. Love to have you on. Maybe it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Maybe you've had a daughter. Maybe you have a unique situation, how it worked out really, really well. That's opposite of what I just talked about. And I know that there are those cases. Go, 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 go. And it works out. I got it. I do get that. And there are also some that didn't work out. Love to hear your perspective. And then also, and you pull this back up, this one here. If you look on the right-hand side here, you see the PB Mentors division, mentoring on life, sports, and business. Download the Connect app. It's owned by Patrick Bet-David, world-famous entrepreneur, very, very successful man, a distance mentor of mine. He owns the Connect app. It's very, very easy. It's very, very secure. You can schedule time with me in 3 different ways. You can do text and receive a text response. You can do text and receive a audio response. And then you can, if you'd like, schedule a one-on-one session with me. We do that video if you're looking for, deeper one-on-one interaction about whatever topic it is. It's really angled and geared towards players, coaches, and parents right now. There's a business aspect of it, but the sports aspect of it, you're playing, you want to reach next level. What do I got to do? How do I prepare in the off season? Remember that the mental side is just as, if not more important than the physical side. There's a lot of guys and gals that are extremely talented physically, but there's a mental aspect that's missing. Sometimes there's a mental aspect that's stronger and there's a more limited athletic. I can help you offset some of the difference between lack of some limitations athletically and really let the mental aspect put you a step ahead or 2 ahead of somebody that's more athletically inclined, or the vice versa. You're super, super, super talented. There's nothing you can't do athletically, but there's a mental aspect. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's a lack of self-esteem. Maybe it's a lack of discipline. I can help you in those areas, make the 2 more equal, merge them together. Of course, you have to be willing to do it, but I could give you different tools necessary to help you excel at a new level. That can be done, and it starts just at $15. And you don't have to continue. There's no, contract. There's nothing like this. Do it at your speed. Maybe you start and then you stop, and then there's a certain point in the season, and I need to get back to this, and I need a pick me up, or I need drop some knowledge, whatever it may be. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot, and I can help you with that. So pbmentors.com, you can go to the site. There's a free self-help evaluation there. Just go up there, pbmentors.com, the top line there, under the PB Mentors tab, there's a drop down. There's my 10 life laws there. And then there's a self-eval. That eval comes to me if you're considering doing this. The eval comes to me, gives me a little bit background into some areas that you're really strong in, some areas that maybe you're a little bit weaker in, what it is you're looking for, where you want to get better. And then I will put together a customized plan on how to help you with whatever it is that you think that you need, know that you need, or perhaps we uncover something that you didn't know that you need, or something that you're doing that maybe probably is having an adverse effect. I can help you with all of that. Longtime player, longtime coach, longtime entrepreneur. I'm able to put those 3 things together. I've helped a lot of people, and I look forward to helping you. All I need is the opportunity. If you're not satisfied for any reason, I'll give you the $15 back, but I don't think so. There's at least one thing that you could take away from the text or the video or the one-on-one that can make a profound difference in your life. If you give me the opportunity, I won't let you down. So everybody have an awesome, awesome weekend. As I say every single week, life is short. Hug someone, hold someone, love someone. We have one life to live. Live yours in the best way you can. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go OKC tomorrow night, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.